All right. Unified Facility Criteria Operational Maintenance and Petroleum Systems, UFC 34603. Chapter 8 Safety Environment. General safety, safety, operational maintenance of the fuel facility and compulsory to preserve life and property. Breach safety standards may result in disciplinary action. Applying the following measures: 811 static and electrical grounding, binding of the grounding components of the petroleum fuel facilities of primary importance in preventing the fire and explosion. All components in the fuel system must be bounded and grounded to drain off static charges and stay electrical currents that can discharge in the form of any electrical arc. Binding across the flanges is not recommended or required as long as the bolts gaskets between the flanges are not electrically insulated. Static charges are prescribed in ground procedures detailed in Chapter 9. Details 812 tools and equipment. Common repairs and maintenance may be made with standard tools. However, the area should be free of violet liquids or vapors, and emergency repairs in the presence of violet liquids or vapors should be cautiously to prevent sharp blows that could cause sparks. 813 hose. Operators should clean the inspection, offloading, and load hosing after each other. Properly store them in racks protected with the sun rays. Inspecting and testing in accordance with paragraph 10.5. Signs. Inspection each of the fuel facility permanent signs and markings following the guidance in paragraph 10.16. Ensure the signs are continuously mounted, clear, legible, show they are desired objective. Verify and of movability, temporary signs maintained with the good condition, serve all the possible uses. For example, danger close to the traffic, keep flames away, men working, do not open the valve under any condition, no smoking, turn off the fan before entering the pit, pump house, danger, no open flame of the ignition source beyond this point. Use bilingual signs when appropriate, and signs must be AFOSH standard or TO 3711 requirements. Markings. Tanks must have the NATO fuel designation stenciled on each of the tank along with the U.S. designation GPA or F34, GP5, F44. Provide identification bonding on the tank code of the tanks of the piping and the under according to the military standard 161 identification methods of bulk petroleum maintaining the inspection in accordance with the paragraph 1016. Vapor and explosion proof equipment of the national the NEC requires the special National Electrician Code requires special electrical components in areas where the explosive vapors may present, where the volatile fuels are handled in the NFPA 407 standard. The aircraft fuel servicing paragraph 249 requires electrical equipment wiring to be designed for class 1 flammable liquids for all applications. Each repair of the project fuel facility must be inspected to verify these requirements have been met. 817 housekeeping. Stay efficient operating requirements, cleanliness, neatness, order, and individual must correct hazardous situation if possible and report them. Expansion fuels expansion is about 0.12% for each degree of Celsius. For each degree of Fahrenheit, temporary increase with about 5 times greater than the water. It is closed in a tight pipeline system complete with full fuel with no provision with the pressure relief. Internal pressure will increase about 75 psi for each degree of Fahrenheit temperature increases. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that all closed systems have pressure relief valve bypass system. Pressure relief valve and the check valve relieve fuel must be directed to the vented tank. 8.2 Safety precautions hazard liquid petroleum products. Although handling of petroleum products may hazard both of the packaged products that can be handled safely and the product's characteristics understood, proper precaution measurements are taken. Maintenance personnel shows now the hazards in handling storing aviation fuels from the cum to the both of the fuel toxic through the skin contact and indigestion and its vapors. The vapors from all the petroleum products constitute fire and explosion hazard and also toxicity to the human body. The vapors of the petroleum products have caused fuel explosions, fires, explosion because the vapors are heavier than the air and settle in low places such as tanks or pits. The vapor remains in a low place identified unless removed with ventilation. A detailed description product characteristics military handbook 201B petroleum operation October 1st 1992 military handbook 1022A AFOSH standard 9138 hydrocarbon fuels general. 821 Toxic liquids, vapors, dust, liquids. Most petroleum products are toxic because of the automatic aromatic content and additives, especially the tetrahydrotetralethol lead. Avoid getting the jet fuel or gasoline on skin clothing because GPA has a fewer aromatics than JP4. It does not evaporate quickly. This means the skin contact is more likely to result from the fuel on the clothing. Jet fuel gasoline removes protective oils for the skin, causing drying and the chapping, cracking, and the lead infection, possible body blood poisoning. Several chemical burns that may result in if the jet fuel gasoline remains in contact with the skin. The shower remove the contaminated clothing at once and avoid any source of ignition. Remove the jet fuel gasoline from the skin and washing the soap in the water as soon as possible after the contact. Remove the fuel and that comes into contact with the eye immediately with the eye bath and or any other available means of flushing the eye with water. Secure medical attention as soon as possible. Accidentally swallowed petroleum products may cause central nervous system depression and pneumonia. Do not induce vomiting. Do not allow the victim or smoke. Victims should be taken to the immediately facility at once. Be sure to inform medical authorities of the type of the fuel. Approximately amount of ingested liquid contact with the skin may also affect the liver, kidneys, and bone marrow. To the additives contaminants such as benzene for use disposable fuel resistant coveralls to reduce the fuel absorption. Replace coveralls contaminated with fuel. Vapors accumulated inside enclosed areas such as tanks and pump houses, resulting in settled low areas such as the pits and valleys. Promptly report all the physical reactions resulting from the jet fuel gasoline vapor inhalation to a physician, even though the rest of the fresh air may cause the recovery within a few hours. To eliminate the personal hazard of the vapor concentration, follow the AFOSH standard 9125 confined spaces. Dust eliminating most toxic dust. Duty must properly dispose of the sludge and cleaning waste. 822 personal clothing. The hazard of working with the JPA added with the new concern with the selecting personal clothing. Although static electrical buildup must be considered absorbing fuel components of the screw skin important as well. The conventional 50% polyester, 50% cotton blend coveralls used in the liquid field management for the years do not provide adequate protection for the fuel absorption. JP8 in the contact fabric trends to wick from a small contact area too much larger, increasing the contaminated area in contact with the skin, causing skin irritation. Although a 50-50 blend is adequate for the routine, the coveralls should be changed and contaminated if contaminated with fuel. When working with a fuel-intensive environment such as tank cleaning, using a disposable TV coverall having the static distribution coating that may be worn alone over the cotton blended coveralls, and test no product productive totally preventing the JP8 for the passing through the exposure areas were low because the wicking effect was not present because of the replacing the Tyvek coveralls that become contaminated. The fuel tank cleaning crews using the Tyvek coveralls as the garment have not been experienced in skin problems encountered with using a 50-50 blend. Noted the static this position contact Tyvek coveralls is water suitable. Loss of the coating should not be problem during lower level exclusive limit LEL conditions. Usually a primary coated coveralls during the initial opening of the tank if explosive vapor levels may be presented outside of the tank. Paragraph 842. When weakening the Tyvek coveralls, they should be the same precautions within the 50-50% blend. Grounds yourself periodically to remove the static charge. 822 studies identify the great static charge were created during the replacement and removal of the outer garments such as field jackets or parkas. To end the hazard, potential personnel must not put on or remove such garments while engaged in a fuel handling or servicing operation. Civilians in military clothing avail all wool and silk, nylon materials and blend with silk and nylon generated with the far greater with the electrostatic charges constituting unacceptable hazard potential. Therefore, clothing made by these materials must be worn outer garments during the fuels servicing and handling operations. Wool stockings, wool glove inserts, wool navy stocking caps where authorized. Underwear of nylon, silk, and polyester poses no significant hazard and are acceptable. 8223. Fuel weather gear is allowed at the table allowance. The table allowance for special purposes of clothing, personal equipment. The LFM personnel who are subject to the outside working during the inclement weather. Any type of clothing may be worn out of the other garments when working with a high flash point fuels, JP5, GP8, JP10, Jet A1, and diesel. However, when servicing aircraft with the flashpoint fuels, JP4 and Jet B gave gas, gas clothing contains more than 65% of the combination mixture of the nylon, rayon, wool, and polyester must not be worn. T00025-172 ground servicing aircraft static grounding paragraph 416D. 8.3 First aid. Inhalation vapors, the concentration of the gasoline, jet fuels, the fuel oil vapors that can be inhaled with the safety fair below the required to produce for combustible explosive mixtures with the air. Every one of the 10 concentrated with the need for the combustion explosion and harmful if inhaled for too long. Remove the person shows signs of dizziness, nausea, headache, for the hazard of the air covered for the either early symptoms is usually prompt for the after exposure of the fresh air. If a person is overcome administrative the first aid at once and prompt medical attention. First breath has been stopped administrative cardiopulmonary or resuscitation. Working with the JP5, 8 in this confined space, be aware that the vapors can be harmful and even with the LEL. The lower explosive limit of an harmful even with a lower explosive limit of 0 unless the space has been completely free to vapor. 832 swallowing. Petroleum products are exceedingly irritating when swallowed. Do not induce vomiting except directed by the physician. Uncontrolled vomiting may cause the more petroleum products to go down the windpipe, produce severe, rapidly progression of pneumonia. If choking the vomit occurs, the subject should be placed on his or her stomach when heard turned on the side of the airways, clean with the ensured drainage by gravity and decrease the chance of aspiration. If the victim is unconscious, not breathing, administer cardiopulmonary resuscitation. 833 Eye Wash Facility. Fixed eye wash facilities required in the shop, pump house, and other similar facilities. The FOSH Standard 9132 Emergency Shower Eye Wash Units, portable unit, are available to provide initial cleaning until the fixed unit can be reached. Consult your environmental engineer for advice for the best unit for the application. 8.4 Preventing petroleum fires. Generally, the absence of any one of the conditions listed in paragraph 8.4.1 represented by the missing leg of the fire triangle prevents the fire. It is not practicable to eliminate the complete or to control air vapor portions when gasoline is handled and dispensed. Temporarily cannot be controlled with the point of the barriers are not possible. Therefore, to eliminate all sources of ignition, it is essential to prevent fires. Note that the liquid oxygen coming into contact with the fuel reacts violently to produce spontaneous combustion. It is mandatory that these put materials be kept isolated for each of the other. These simultaneous conditions are necessary to create the petroleum fires. Petroleum must be in the form of the vapor. Air vapor must be present the proportion to support combustion and explosion. The incombustible mixture of the air and petroleum vapor must be raised to its ignition and temperature of the subject as a source ignition. 842 Source of the fire. Explosion vapors are above the exposed limit and is non-combustible if the tank is not open. However, after the tank has been opened, the vapor is escaping the outer atmosphere quickly, diluted to within the explosive limit. If ignited with the cause of the fire hole in the main holes in the tank outlets, eventually the vapor concentration of the tank is diluted, creating a fire, exposing the hazard within the tank. Sources of fire ignition and explosion 8422. The extra precautions must be taken when venting of the tank to be sure all sources of ignition are eliminated. Petroleum vapors are heavier than air, will travel several hundred feet before they dissipate into the atmosphere. Any sort of ignition may ignite the vapors and cause the flashback, resulting in fatalities. A person caught in the flashback, loss of the property issuing such vapors. 8423 Sludge, other agitated material, sediment, hole, roof support, sidewall, scale, oil-soaked, wooden structures continuously release petroleum vapors. These vapors can accumulate to above the explosive limit in an enclosed area. Tank should not be declared safe until all such materials have been removed. 8424 Primary contributors vapor ignition are static and stray electrical currents. Personal negligence, human factor can be reduced by education and taking strict disciplinary action against safety regulation violators. Preventive measures preventing the petroleum fires can be best done by reducing control of the open presence of petroleum product vapors and eliminating source of ignition as follows. Provide the proper ventilation for the pump house pits and other enclosed spaces where the petroleum vapors may accumulate. Take all the precautions to prevent the petroleum products leak or spills. Chapter 9, Electrical Grounding and Bonding.